we called the tip?
No, it's not thrown out. I'm assured it's not
Okay.
thrown out. It's just kind of gone to a parallel universe somewhere.
Who is this person?
You got a pocket dimension.
Anne Marie Kondo. She's got a TV series on Netflix, and basically, she's supposed to declutter your house.
Oh, that woman. Right. Okay. Yeah.
That woman, yes, but the reality is, it's like she's like the anti-one. She'll just kind of take stuff away rather than bring it back.
That's like a burglar, isn't it?
That's what she is, yeah.
So what you've essentially got is a thief. Why is she in your house?
Because Mrs. Shan likes the book and likes the TV series, so Mrs. Shan feels inspired to tidy up, declutter everything. But at least I managed to save my autograph from David Braben and stuff like that. That was rescued last week. So it was not nailed out. It's like, where is it? Oh, I put it somewhere safe or somewhere logical. And where's logical?
Yeah.
As I say, it's parallel universe. It goes.
Logical to one person is not logical to somebody else.
Yeah, and then I get moaned at saying, oh, why have you got to report another one of those? What do you mean another one of those? Well, the first one is just here, and you can't spend 30 quid on another tool. And you anyway, yeah. So that's the frustration continues, but at least my office is now done. Paint rack here. No, well, Pal's not here. Unlike Cycling Pal, I actually might go away. So,
Finish now.
I've got a corner full of bubble wrap. I've got a corner that's slowly up a bit. I might actually put something useful, and then Anne-Marie Conlon come in and take it all away.
What's your setup there?
Oh, well, the actual desk is fine. I mean, my desk on real estate is pretty good actually. I've got a 34-inch 4K monitor and a 30-inch 2560 by 1600 monitor next to it. So I've got quite a good setup with the house and stuff like that. But it was the rest of the office that was completely wrecked. So that's all been complete. My desk does need sorting out, but it's slowly migrating stuff out. And what I've started to do is actually put all my most precious possessions on my desk, because I can keep an eye on them then.
So, Shan, when are you actually going to get a safe for under your desk? For things like David Braben's autograph and stuff like that?
Well, Mrs. Shan now knows that that's sacred, so actually, all that Shan needs to do is write up the words David Braben on things.
To quote Newt from Aliens, it won't make any difference.
Yeah, oh, they do come out and test it nice.
So yeah, in game, I'm about 3 jumps away from waypoint 7. Now
Nice.
I went to the crater point of interest, which is pretty nice actually. I couldn't get the
You
thing
went
in
to the
daylight.
what? The crater point? Crater
Yeah,
point?
there's something crater point of interest.
Tell us about that, because we don't have a Distant Worlds update this week.
Okay, well I would have thought
We should have a Distant Worlds update.
We don't
Yeah.
have any Distant Worlds humans. though.
Okay, well
Okay,
yeah.
Apart
Okay,
from
well-
Atris, Shan and I, you were also there.
Well, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, so I kind of pick and choose where I go for the waypoints. So what I do, I go through the thread. If you click on the locations, it brings up a picture and description of what things are. So my first filter is, does the name sound interesting? And then I click on it, and if it's not particularly a good name, but not particularly spectacular, I don't think it is, I won't bother going. But this crater place was really good. So that was well worth going. And then been to the Great Annihilator on my Shenanigans account. So I just left there earlier today, and Yeah, I'm about 7 jumps away from waypoint 7.
Actually, I'm glad that you were there earlier today, because I will be there soon, and I'm glad you're nowhere near now.
What was so good about the crater?
Well, it's a rather large crater on a world inside a planetary nebula. So you get rather spectacular views from it. So yeah, it was well worth it. Just get the name up of them.
Are you popping it in the chat?
I will do.
Well, while you're doing that, I've had quite a productive week. So some of you may recall I was working on a new Mamba build. So I've never had a combat ship really, not a proper dedicated one. Partly because I'm a terrible pilot, and partly because I really like going fast and jumping fast. So obviously combat builds can either of those things. But over with my other hat on, my Sagittarius I hat, we've got our own faction in game now, and we wanted to work the BGS, and doing that needs a combat ship. So I said, right, okay, I'm going to need a combat ship, and so I've been building this Mamba because it's the only combat ship that I like the look of, and I think I've now completely finished it. I've got everything sorted, all the bits and bobs engineered to grade 5, and I'm just nipping back to which one? DD Vataman to check that my shield boosters are all the right mod, and from then I'm going to be ready to go. It's seriously good. Like, I thought that the trick to combat was being really good at combat. Turns out actually the trick to combat is just flying a really, really hard ship. So that's brought me up until today. So it's been quite good. Ah, you've posted.
So have you tried a third lance of the equivalent build?
I've never flown a third lance. I know they're very good, but I really like going fast, and the Mamba beats the third lance in speed. Have you flown both?
Yes.
Which do you prefer?
Third lance.
Why is that?
It's more manoeuvrable. The speed, yes, it's a bit slower, but I've never thought to myself, oh, I really wish it was as quick as a Mamba. It's just, yeah, pretty much of a muchness, really. It's kind of like, do you want the estate or saloon version of the same car? You know,
yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
it's kind of like that. So I prefer the third lance actually. Although one thing that does annoy me about third lance and kick my OCD into gear is if you buy a brand new third lance, the paint is chipped. It comes delivered with chipped paint.
Same with any ship. Same with the Imperial ships. Like,
At least it's got all its wiring hidden.
Yeah. If you buy a Clipper or something and look out the window, it's chipped as well. I guess the thinking is that if you bought a Boeing 747, the paint would probably not be perfect.
Well, if I brought a brand new one, I'd jolly well hope it was.
Yeah, well, I suppose so, yeah.
You know, if I spent £300,000 on a new Ferrari and it came with stone chips in the bonnet, you know, I'd be having words, I think.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Well, why are you assuming that all the ships are brand new? We
Some
could
of them
just
are
buy them from a
definitely
used car salesman.
Yeah, good point. Some of them are definitely not, and some of them I'm not even sure are still being made according to law.
Well, that's the point. Because are they still making new Pythons? Because I think Pythons are one of the oldest designs out there, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what my source for this is, but I vaguely remember reading somewhere that neither Anacondas nor Pythons are built anymore. And the Sidewinder, there's definitely. I don't think there's ever been a new version of that. It comes with somebody else's flask and somebody else's book, so. That was definitely not a new ship.
I was just thinking, like a Top Gear. You know, we brought 3 Pythons for 42 million. How far can they go before they conk out or something like that?
Nice. Jolly good. Right, what have we? Development news next. we've got a forum revamp coming up. I've got to tell you, this is probably the least exhilarating bit of news that we've covered. But the Frontier forums are getting a lick of paint. Anybody else incredibly excited about this?
Well, it's got some good things for technical things, and we're updating to new versions of forums and things like that, which I guess is exciting if you care about that kind of thing.
Well, you are a programmer, aren't you? So is there anything on there that makes you think this will be way better?
Absolutely nothing that I'm aware of. But I'm assuming there's security features and things like that.
But there are a couple of forums that are going, aren't they? I suppose.
Yes.
Forums today the DDA forums going.
Yeah, they're going to be removing. I'll just read a bit from the post. We'll be removing inactive forum sections to make it easier to access all current discussions. Changes will be game specific, so please check out these forum announcements in each game section to see what changes are coming to that game's forums. Here are the changes for the Elite Dangerous specific section of the forums. All the news sections will now be merged under one heading. Tags will allow you to locate patch notes or other news. The newcomers section will be merged with guides. The special events section will be removed. Groups and squadrons will become groups, squadrons and factions. Thargoids and aliens will be renamed Thargoids and Guardians, which is a shame really, because it indicates there aren't any other aliens. Community goals will remain in the community goal archives and CG notes and goal submissions will be removed and merged with the main CG section. Engineers will be merged with the ship section. PvP, power play and CQC will be merged into a new playstyle section. Which is ridiculous. They might as well call it the neglected.
You know what's happening, don't you?
What's that?
Frontier have got Anne-Marie Kondo in to sort their forums out.
We've just tidied it.
You know, they've basically got everything and just stitch it all in a lot, and then hoping stuff will fall off the bottom, and then so no one will ever be able to find anything ever again.
No, absolutely. If you like shooting people, you'll never be able to find it again. All of your sections have now been merged into an anonymous playstyle section. The Horizons section will be removed, about time. Community events and creations section will be removed, which is, hold on, that's got our sticky in there. That's annoying.
Yep.
Yeah, but will our sticky be unstickied and then removed, or will it be a sticky in the new forum?
It just says community events and creations section will be removed. It doesn't say we're going to merge it or move it. It just says removed. So, have to wait and see. Player tools and API will be merged into one section. International discussions will be removed as there are new dedicated Frontier international sections this year. Many inactive private forums will be removed. I didn't know there were. And bug reports and support.
Is that the definition of them being private forums?
No, I mean, I don't...
the everyone but Suzerain forum is going.
Many bug reports and support will be moved to their own dedicated websites.
That worries me actually about the bug report thing, because I think that was one of the good features about them being just on the forums, is that you could go off and have a look for a bug, and you could go off and do me too on bugs.
Yeah, fair one. Although you can still do that.
Well, maybe.
It says,
I don't know.
No.
See, I think you guys are missing the point. Your Frontier games don't have bugs, so what?
It says
all Frontier games have so many bugs.
We'll be launching a new dedicated bug tracking website in order for us to make that process easier, better and more manageable. We'll be able to log issues as you're used to doing, and the community will be able to vote on your issue, which will consider it confirmed, which means we can put more focus into examining the highest ranked issues, which is brilliant. Really, really good, I think. Save loads of time. Save loads of time in us logging.
So your bug basically becomes a popularity contest as opposed to an impact contest.
It's like a Reddit for bugs.
We're going to have
videos. So do we get a second referendum if we don't get another vote there?
Only if we can't get a hard Brexit first. Something.
A hard forum rather than.
Yeah, I'll get a hard forum. Yes, that'll do.
So this is like the backstop.
I mean, I do have concerns that they're getting rid of the community events and creations stuff, because that's like the community events and creations. So what's going to happen to all that kind of stuff? You know, that's us, Drabbles, all the Hutton stuff. Presumably, a lot of Cannon's things go in there.
Sagai.
Sagai goes in there. That's.
But they've been posting Sagai stuff in the general forum, haven't they? As well.
We've been doing it in both.
It's probably a bit naughty putting it in general, but yeah.
Somebody else does that, but yeah, we've been doing it on both. Nobody goes to.
And maybe that's why they're doing it, so we can get an okay to put it into the general forum. But yeah,
I'm sure there'll be a sticky.
If no one goes there, then you're not actually losing anything by it going, are you?
True. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Good point.
Do you want? There is a bit of a public service announcement there. If you want to mention, do you want to mention this, or shall I?
You go on.
Okay, so since so many of the threads are being gone, if there is a thread that you are particularly that you consider your baby, shall we say, and it contains stuff that you maybe don't want to lose, or it's of historical value or whatever. So, let's say for sake of argument, you cared about the very first LaveCon back in 2013 thread for whatever reason. Completely irrelevant now, but it had good historical value. Then we'll put the links to this in the show notes. But there is an archive URL that you can go to, and basically you can post that URL, and it gives you everything in a much simpler view, and then you can export that or save it to your local hard drive, or export it as a PDF. I went off and wrote a little shell script to go off and save like 20 odd pages, or however many pages I needed to save. That took about 5 minutes to go off and save everything as using wget. But it means I've got local copies of all the Drabble sites, for example. So I've got like several thousand Drabbles now sitting on my contaminating my hard drive.
So when is this decluttering of the forum happening then? How long have we got to archive one for last?
Soon, but
End of March.
Well, could even be mid-March.
End of March unless there's an extension.
It says our new forums are set to go live at the end of March.
Yeah, but they might be decluttering even before then.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes sense. I guess they want to get rid of stuff they don't want to migrate over first, and then they'll migrate it over, I guess. So yeah, if there's anything that you care about, make sure you get it saved soon, because otherwise it might be gone forever.
I think this is brilliant though. I can't believe it's gone. It's such a it becomes a bit of a mire of things.
Compatibility.
Yeah, absolutely. So if they can make it a bit more, they can tidy it and make it a bit more user friendly. It'd be brilliant. Anyway, moving on. Another interesting snippet that came out was this stat: the 0.036% of the galaxy that's been explored. Was that an official Frontier stat? Or did somebody in the community come out with that?
It is an official Frontier stat. So Frontier today, just this morning actually, Elite Dangerous went off and tweeted that out for us.
Yeah, amazing.
Just because they did. Don't know why they did, but they did.
There's a couple of times in the last 2 years that I've heard people say things like, "Oh, I've done so much exploring. I've explored everywhere. The galaxy feels a little bit small now. I want to go to another galaxy." And when you hear a stat like that, you sort of want to slap them, don't you?
It's like, well, stop only jumping between Lave and Deso. Of course you're only going to see the same bloody thing. I'm not exactly off the beaten path at the moment. I'm following the recommended Distant Worlds 2 route between all the different shiny things. So there's like, what, 13,000 odd people here, and I'm in a system that nobody's been to still.
If you look at EDSM, there are lines everywhere. If you look at it's crazy. Like it looks like people have explored every inch, and yet it's 1/3%. Crazy.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. I mean, the space is big.
Yep.
I can kind of see in a way where people are coming from, because the first time I went to Sagittarius A, I think I was on a 30 light year asp or something, and it seemed like forever to go there. And it seemed a really long way out, and you really got a sense of isolation and being out in the black. But now, kind of with the large jump drives, and it's almost, it just seems like, I don't know, going to Cornwall or something. Do you know what I mean? There are only certain places where you get that kind of I'm alone in the middle of nothingness bit, and the number of those is declining.
Yeah, there's definitely been stat inflation. Things the guns have got bigger, the jump drives have got bigger. 30 light years used to be 30 for most ships, and sort of top end of 30 for the Anaconda used to be fairly hard limit, and now that's just a multi-roll now.
Well, that's right. I think 42, I think, was the most you could get with a stripped down Anaconda with no engineering and fumes. Because when I was looking at my trip to Beagle Point years ago now, if you had a top end jump range, you could get across the abyss on fumes, basically being really careful to plot. Otherwise, you had to go via the Roncevaux if you had a 33, 34-ish thing. But even getting across Roncevaux was a challenge, because not every scar was jumpable to, and you couldn't just plot across it. You had to work your way through, and sometimes you get to a dead end and couldn't get any further, and you had to go back and plot around it. And it was a real feat of navigation to get across there.
Yeah, that's true.
But now, it's kind of like, well, the way I likened it was, I was speaking to some friends yesterday, is getting across the abyss now, it's like when the A1 goes from 3 lanes to 2 lanes now. I can still plot across it, and you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm not sort of saying, oh, back in my day it used to be harder, but I think it's the suffering the fate is on a lot of games where stuff starts off as really hard, and then as players get used to it, they develop the techniques. Maybe the developers change stats to things like that. It becomes easier and easier and easier, more well known, and it just kind of loses that edge a little bit.
As long as I think the challenge, I hear what you're saying, and it's definitely things that used to be hard are easier. But the thing is with the procedurally generated galaxy of this size is that if the realm of the possible becomes larger, the challenges that would something that previously was an impossibility becomes a challenge. So, for example, there's a massive black hole off to the west of the galaxy, for a better word, that's about 90 light years from the rim. One day, I think I'll probably be able to jump there. At the moment, I can't. Presumably, you know, these sort of things are true of lots of areas around the galaxy. You know, if longer jump ranges, you can get higher above it, or further below it, and further out, and all that kind of thing. And there'll be more options like this at the start, where as you advance in jump range, suddenly makes a particular stellar cluster accessible that previously wasn't, or something like that.
See, I just wonder when they did the Stellar Forge, whether one of the parameters they used was the maximum jump range for ship. So
they'd have done it the other way around, I reckon. Knowing old Davy B.
Maybe, but I'm thinking about if one of the fundamental parameters has changed, the maximum jump range, then it has the effect of making more stuff reachable. And if you did
but
that,
why would Stellar Forge do that? Surely it should go. I'm with Sue here. You would go from you engineer the galaxy to be right, and then you make your ships fit it. You don't make your galaxy fit your spaceships.
You might in some games, but just knowing what Frontier are like from a design perspective.
And from a science perspective.
Yeah, precisely.
maybe, but I was just thinking about, you know, I was thinking about the balance in the game between the jump range and distance.
Yeah, it's definitely shrunk. I'm not an expert. I've done a fair bit of exploring, but I'm not as expert as a lot of people. But I'm pretty sure that it's not as simple as you can't get to the point where you look at the sector and be like, oh, okay, I can tell just by looking at that in the map there's going to be nothing interesting.
But you can tell by the name of the star, the size of the star, and there's certain conclusions you can draw from the star name and the way
That's true. Yeah,
things like that. So you can sort of. I mean, it's not.
There are still surprises
100%.
though, and you can
But
only
also, I haven't
and you can
actually-
only see the binary.
I haven't actually tried this. But you used to be able to get a snapshot of the star configuration by zooming into the map until you're right over the star, and you can sometimes see whether it's a close binary or whatever.
Yeah.
Galactic map.
Yeah, I guess the point I'm making is that it's not. We're not at a stage where it's predictable. People can still be surprised, and jumping into a system like you can do that. You can see if it's a close binary or whatever. But even so, whenever you jump into a system, it's broadly a surprise as to what you're going to find. So, and because we've explored less than a third of a percent of the galaxy, it strikes me that, like, you know, there's still uncountable, really amazing things to be found. You know, there must be another 1,000 or so systems at least as impressive as the collection of wonders, for example.
I'm sure there is, but it's interesting on the live stream on Monday. Will did say that there's still stuff that players haven't found yet in terms of non-natural phenomenon.
Awesome. Well, that's cool.
It's cool, but then you think, well, is it like just a question of chance? Is it like a needle in a haystack, and one day someone will happen upon something interesting?
Yeah.
Or
that's the way it's been in the past.
Is
That's always
there?
how it's been, though. That's, you know, we've always kind of had a needle in a haystack effect with how big this galaxy is. And that's kind of how, for the most part, it should be, because that's the whole point of exploring, is going and hoping and finding something like that.
Yeah. Totally agree. It's it was the same with it's been the same with the biological life on planets. You know, some of them were only found when we got the new mapping tool, but they'd been there for months.
Yeah, because Will also mentioned that we the players, there are still interactions between these things that we haven't tried yet.
Oh, that's cool. Talking about mollusks.
He didn't mention anything specific.
That's true. Oh, I love it. Right, before we get dragged down too much into that stuff, you guys who are on Discworlds 2, can you... Charlie Hall at Polygon has been doing a brilliant job writing up Discworlds, and he wrote up this week the dramatic rescue of do either of you guys know about this?
I wasn't involved because of the weekend, but yeah, it looks like a damn pretty rescue. But I don't even know what the person needed rescuing for, to be honest. And I've been keeping a closer eye on the fuel rat rescue of that Highway Warrior was doing.
Yeah, that was exciting too. Yeah. It was Commander Proiger 3 who got stuck in a neutron jet cone.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
It didn't. Orca's a Black gets stuck in a jet cone, but she eventually managed to escape it.
McNichol did. I don't know about the rest of it.
Yeah, and this is what this guy did. He basically got caught in it. His ship got mashed and beaten up from the cone, but somehow he managed to escape without a canopy, and he only had like minutes of oxygen on his life support, and basically his ship was wrecked. So the hull seals got him and managed to patch him up.
Can the seals replenish oxygen as well?
No, you gotta synthesize that, don't you?
You can synthesize it. I don't think you can transfer it to somebody else.
I've actually got the article in front of me. I'll read out what it says. So, over the next several hours, Commanders Gontus, Killerus, Rixan, West Tech, and Noodle and Pasta, that's a great name, serves as an emergency dispatchers. They gathered a group of 20 first responders, each armed with top-tier mining equipment, to rush to the scene. They located ring planets in nearby systems with the right composition. Once identified, the miners went to work blasting away at the materials needed to synthesize oxygen out of individual asteroids. So yeah, it's quite an epic rescue. And at the moment, he got down to less than 2 minutes of oxygen left before he got rescued.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Who watched the Highway Warriors rescue? Was it Saturday or something?
Saturday, I believe. I didn't watch it, but I have seen some of the Twitch. But I couldn't watch it live because I was doing daughtery things.
Fair enough.
I think we had Highway Warrior on the show, didn't we?
We have had, yes.
Yeah.
When was that?
A while ago now. But
Yeah, no, this was when
he's done this kind of thing before.
Yeah, when they rescued the person who had gone the farthest than anyone. I think the record's been broken now actually, but basically they spent like 2 days solid in super cruise going out to get this person. And they had real class because they didn't want to take the record away from the stranded commander, so they made sure that even their limpets stayed within
Wow.
Right.
That's really nice.
That's dedication right there and coordination.
Yeah. And then the other bit of the other cool in-game event was the Waypoint 6 mass launch. Who was involved?
I wasn't. It wasn't an official mass launch, but Commander Moster and a bunch of the other DW2 organisers arranged an unofficial one, and you know we had a whole load of fun shooting the breeze out at Waypoint 6, cooking off the neutron star, and then we went off and jumped out of the neutron star into another thing, and then even though we were deliberately trying to do it at a point not to break Frontier servers, we still managed to break Frontier servers.
How many of you were there?
I don't know exactly. I don't know how many of us there were. I mean, there was a good 30, 40 of us in that one instance that I was in.
That's probably.
And you know, we did all do a 3, 2, 1 countdown, and got a fairly nice video of us all going and me nearly ramming into the back of a Type 10 that was going but was accelerating a lot slower than I was.
Yeah.
But it was a good fun, just a nice little, fairly safe meetup. Even though it was all very unofficial.
Sounds good.
It's one of these nice little fun things you can do, isn't it, Don? When you're out in the black and doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. There's one actually. I'm missing out. I need to multi-crew.
If you, I can jump into open and you can come here if you want.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I'm not in a meetup, but I am out in. I'm orbiting a moon at the moment of an Earth-like world.
I'm not in game at the minute, but I'll take you up on that.
Okay.
That's a very pretty system you're in, Ed.
It is a very pretty system, anyway. Although that's not the system. I'm not on Twitch at the moment. That's not my screen on Twitch. It is a nice looking system.
Quick newsletter point. Anybody read the newsletter? Newsletter 262. I read it. I must admit, there's nothing on there that leaps out as being worth.
Yeah. I use the newsletter to make sure I haven't missed a good paint job that week.
The elite community meet in Manchester's quite exciting.
Yeah, who's going?
I can't go. It's Easter weekend, and I'll be doing family stuff. Otherwise, I would love to be going. Are you not planning on going, Steve?
I want to, yeah. I haven't bought my ticket yet. I intend to. Shan, are you going?
No, again, it's Easter weekend, and it's just a bit too far, really.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know, it's good they change it around because it gives people who's north of the wall able to go to elite meet.
I mean, the last one was Reading Way, so you know you can't really complain about that one for distance.
Yeah, fair one. I should have gone to that. Yeah, I'll try and go, definitely.
I mean, I have to admit, because it's in Manchester, it is actually quite convenient for me being in sort of being Sheffield way, but it's
going to say this one is about as convenient for you as they get, really.
It is. It's just I might go and take the kids along or something like that.
Excellent.
So I might go along with the kids as a punter, rather than going along and sort of helping out and saying hi to people. But I'd be going along primarily as a father and a punter, rather than.
I'm here as the father.
Yes.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I can't put it any other way, really. You know, I'm there to let my kids see some of this stuff and let them play Artemis and let them play in a VR rig. I mean, like last year, we had somebody had a full-on chair that threw you around whilst playing the game, and you had a VR rig. I mean, yeah, it's just amazing. Wotherspoon's going to be there apparently.
Yeah, I did tap him up to see whether I'd fancied sharing a room, but he says he's a bit past that now.
Not on the first date.
I was like, I don't mind. I'll be big spoon or little spoon. Totally flexible. Apparently, he wasn't enamoured with the idea. There you go.
Okay then.
But, yeah, I'll try and get there.
What about Alexander? Is he able to make it? Do you know?
I don't know actually. I haven't asked. I'll ping him and find out. He doesn't normally go to things. Now I've got my Sovereign T-shirt, and I bloody ought to go to these things.
Because what you should do then, Sue, is for MaveCon we'll all wear Sovereign T-shirts. I'm Sovereign. I'm Sovereign.
I'll have an identity crisis.
That could be quite funny, actually.
Right, to get me out of this bizarre situation, let's move on to the main discussion.
Should we have an advert break and then main discussion, or just straight in?
Oh yeah, no, that's a good idea. Yeah, let's do that. Artress, we'll move to you and get you to tell us all what's going on in the world of Thargoids in a minute or so, if that's alright.
That sounds great.
Perfect.
Hey, buddy, why the long face?
Exploring is boring.
What? What makes you say so?
Because I have to scoop for fuel at every single store. And then the voices I hear in the store tell me to...
Whoa, sounds like you've got a case of space madness. What you really need is really big gas tank.
What?
With a really big gas tank, you'll be sailing the Milky Way in style and comfort. No more hanging out at every stupid store just to refuel. It's as easy as honk and go. Gotta get to Beagle Point for a romantic interlude? Just honk and go. Wanna be the buckiest ball in the galaxy? Just honk and go. And if you fill your really big gas tank with patented Jumponium 5000, you can honk and go.
Gee, thanks, Master.
No, thank you. Really big gas tank. Because why wait when you can honk and go? Jumponium 5000 has been known to cause extra growth of mayonnaise, high physical and spontaneous Thargoid taste, used only as direct.
On the far side of the bubble, on the dark side of an airless moon, on the slightly more interesting side of a ravine, there lived the Engineer. The Engineer can make your lasers more powerful, your engines speedier, and your gas tank really big. I want fish.
That's right there.
So, shad, scat, come on by with the long-nosed cat. Nibble dish, northern squad. What about Swedish fish? Why the hell not? Fish, because, you know, space.
Welcome back. Right, Thargoids. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but the entire bubble seems to be on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the. It seems that every time I check, it seems that the are either overrun or with burning stations, or stations that have been sort of damaged for months and aren't getting fixed. So when we were talking about this internally, we thought we need to get an expert in to tell us the stories behind the headlines. So,
But we couldn't find any experts, so we got Atris.
I was going to say that explains why Colin isn't here either.
So
No,
we
you know.
had to.
Look, you called me in. You said I need you to talk about aliens. I said, all right, I've got nothing better to do tonight. So
we've saved him from a takeaway and Netflix, people.
wonderful.
What do you do in the community?
So I am part of the Lave Radio Network Squadron. I advise sometimes when I'm asked opinions on things. I also write the weekly Thargoid report for Untrusted podcast, so letting you guys know where the latest infestations or incursions are taking place, what you can do, what stations are on fire. I like to lurk around the Canon Discord to find these things, and also gain this knowledge and share it where I can. I also tend to hang around the AXI and Operation IDA Discord, never posting, but always watching like a creep. So, happy to share all the information I've observed over this time and all the things I've been writing about, and keeping track of all the Thargoid reports that I've been writing, all the stations that have been attacked and the efforts that are going in. Because as you saw last week, wow, yeah, 15 stations are on fire, and yeah, that's not exactly good, because it's raising the question of, by the time we get back from Distant World, is there going to be anything to come back to?
Yeah, precisely. That's the question. All Crows the Black said to an off-the-cuff comment in an interview about a month ago, maybe a bit longer. She said, with 10,000 people out, and that's how long ago, because it was just before Distant Worlds left, because it was there were only 10,000 sign-ups. She said, with 10,000 people outside the bubble, she was worried that it would just completely be overrun, which seems to be what's happening.
Well, the question is, I don't jump in, but is the overrunning because the BGS is acting strange? Or is it, or are we being overrun because everyone's Distant Worlds 2? Or is it a combination of the two? Or is it, have Frontier set up incursions deliberately to make this happen?
So that's actually a pretty good question. And from what I've seen, it's a little bit of people being off on Distant Worlds 2, the BGS being a bit messed up because there were changes to how Eagle Eye is updated, which tells us which systems are going to be targeted by the Thargoids for the week. And, if we have a double tick, things get a bit screwy. So what we think would happen last week is every week Eagle Eye tells us, there are 6 systems that are going to be attacked. So we have to defend these systems. We fail to defend them, they go into an incursion state, they damage the station gets on fire, people have to rescue things, have to rescue civilians and evacuate them and whatnot, fight off Thargoids in AX combat zone. So before, it used to be on the weekly server update at early in the morning on Thursdays, Eagle Eye would also update, but they recently changed it that Eagle Eye updates with the BGS tick every Thursday. So if there's what happened was Wednesday last week, Eagle Eye changed from the previous 6 systems that it had reported to new ones. So we all thought to ourselves, maybe, just maybe, they were giving us a break and telling us where to go in advance, to our ships. At least that was the theory I was running on. A lot of people were doubtful because week before, this also happened where one of Eagle Eye systems changed Wednesday before the actual weekly tick for Eagle Eye, and that system ended up being attacked. So Thursday morning, we all wake up, log into game, sure enough, half the bubbles on fire. And Eagle Eye, after the BGS tick, is reporting the original 6 systems that was saying the previous week. So, yeah. And that day we also had a double tick, and that's when BGS freeze was acting up. So it's very well possible that the BGS problems are sort of tied in. I can't say with confidence. It's just my own ideas and things I read off the Canon forum. Which, if anyone from Canon is listening, big shout out to you guys. You guys have been doing a fantastic job. So, yeah, in this case, if people want to get involved, like the people who are still in the bubble, if they want to get involved with this stuff, there's some good forum threads that you can follow that tell you where to go and what you can be doing if you're interested in getting involved. The other thing, too, sort of relating to the BGS, I know I'm hopping around a little bit, but first time being on there, so bear with the nerves.
No worries. No, you're doing good.
So, the BGS, when 3.3 launched, we used to see a state called infested, which was telling us, like, it wasn't something that you could filter for. You just hover over the system, that galaxy map, and it would tell you the state of the system. It would say infested, and we knew if Eagle Eye wasn't reporting accurately, we can at least rely on that. And that was clear when we killed enough scouts or interceptors in the system at the BGS, at the next tick for the BGS.
Oh, cool.
Somewhere along the way, that disappeared. Yeah, so there's actually a big, bug report on this right now going on the forum. I've provided a link to that in the show notes for anyone who's interested in following that. That it would be nice to get that back to see that state, but it wasn't one that you can actually filter for on the Galaxy. So yeah. And then, of course, incursions also on there now, too. So we had 15 from last week. Thankfully, we're now down to 7, thanks to the efforts of a lot of anti-Xeno combat pilots. So that's really great. But this raises the question, of course, is combat the only way to get rid of the Thargoid? Which is something that's been thrown around a lot lately.
That's a really good question.
Well, we were told that certain activities influence infestation and incursion.
Yeah.
We just don't know what they are.
Right.
Because, well, reason. So, you look at the description of an incursion state, it says, oh, you got to engage combat, Thargoids in the combat zones, and, there might be other activities that could impact it, but we haven't quite figured it out. So, a lot of thought is going into this now, especially from Operation IDA, because those guys are, doing their best to fix the bubble and the Pleiades fastest that they can, which is, the list for them is ever growing longer. We're up to, I think, a total of 88 stations have been attacked, and 86 stations have been attacked, and 2 of them twice, I believe, have been damaged. So, they've got a long list of repairs ahead of them, so they're really trying to see what they can do to lift incursion and prevent to lift infestations faster. So they're right now tracking, for example, after a station's damaged, does evacuating civilians reduce the incursion? So, those rescue missions that when you go and land in the station that's on fire and take passengers to the rescue ships outside.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Besides that.
So how much do you think, as another possible factor, that apathy, because the burning stations have been happening for a while, do you think people have gone off saying, well, we're kind of bored of shipping tens of thousands of tons for stuff to fix them, and we know what's going to happen when they're damaged, and we'll just go and do something else? I mean, how much do you think is apathy?
I think there's actually quite a bit. You get a lot of player burnout because of the amount of shipping that they have to do, especially in the Pleiades. Whenever Eagle Eye reports that a Pleiades target, Pleiades systems being targeted again, you just actually can't tell because there's always Thargoids there. So you don't know when you've done enough to lift it, and that's actually what happened last week. They destroyed something like 3,500 scouts just to prevent the station from being damaged, and then of course the next day, sure enough, the station's on fire again.
How do you know when you've done enough?
Well, when the infested state was showing up, once it went away, that was, you knew you did enough.
And now there's no way of knowing.
No, not really. I mean, people are tracking the number of kills that they get via Discord, and Canon has a plugin for the EDMC. I mean, Canon used to do a lot of the stat tracking prior to the infestation state. They were pretty much tracking the number of kills per system. They were able to figure it out because originally it was, Eagle Eye would report maybe 3-4 systems. Some of the Eagle Eye satellites would be repeating the first 3, and then Canon would say, okay, it looks like these 2 targets are going to be actually affected. So then we got good at defending 2 targets because we were, tracking kills into the thousands.
Yeah.
These are CG level amount of kills just to defend these systems.
Yeah.
I remember Colin Ford saying a few weeks back that he thought the number of kills needed to avert the system falling had been hiked quite considerably.
Yeah, that's the current idea because, Selino and Atlas and I can't remember the other station in the Pleiades at the moment, but they killed over 3,500 scouts in previous attempts at defending those systems. 3,500 was more than enough to clear the infestation. But yeah, I would agree that, Colin's statement that, numbers have probably increased is right. That's just what we're seeing now. And it's really a shame because you're not only getting burnout on the number of stations that need to be repaired and the amount of hauling that these guys got to do, especially since some of these resources, they're not always going to be available in Pleiades, so they got to fly all the way to the bubble in a cutter or a T9 or an Anaconda, fly it all the way back to the Pleiades. It takes, it really starts to kill the game for you when you're constantly doing this and you're not seeing your efforts rewarded.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, with increasing the numbers of Thargoid kills and things like that, a lot of AX combat pilots, I can understand if they're feeling a bit tired after, blowing up 3,500 scouts just to defend a system. And then have to go on to another 5 systems, because that's how Eagle Eye is reporting it.
Yeah, yeah. And
we know...
Ben, do you want to leap in on the other ways to combat the bugs?
Well, I'm just wondering, are there other ways that we could use to find things? So, for example, is there the equivalent of a DEET, rare good or something like that you can deliver?
Not that I'm aware of, but I can tell you from experience, from my real life job, insect cells don't really like biological detergent. So if you throw some what's it, berry?
So bio-waste.
That's certainly not detergent then. If you're using bio-waste as detergent, that explains quite a lot.
Yeah, it would explain why this no longer leaks.
Hang on, didn't I hear something about urine being able to be used as an oldie-worldy detergent?
Yeah, in the Middle Ages it was, evaporated and used as a dry cleaning.
The ammonia.
Yeah, but Thargoids are ammonia-based, so why would you...
It's bait! Thargoids want...
Are we talking about pissing on Thargoids?
Yes, we are talking about pissing on Thargoids.
So, if you want your space station packed, just jettison a bit of bio-waste and smear it all over the hull of the station. Getting back on topic and a bit serious, we know
I was on topic, you just took it in a silly direction.
Yeah, exactly. So, we know Frontier have expressed a reluctance to kind of intervene in things because they want players to sort their own thing out. But with what you're saying about the sheer amount of effort needed to try and prevent an attack, and the effect of the BGS and Distant Worlds 2 and apathy and all the stuff we talked about, do you think there's a need for them to sort of intervene to lower the requirements, or should they just kind of stuff it and just hike it up?
Well, that's the thing. It would be nice to get at least some feedback, knowing, okay, what you're doing. We understand there was maybe a bug last week. That's why we have so many systems on fire. That would be great, because at least it would let combat pilots know, at least like AXI and the Hive and the Hand and Hank's Anti-Xeno Alliance, Operation IDA, and all these guys, engaging in the Thargoid combat. We'll let them know at least that they're working towards something. At least give them an idea. Okay, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We messed up last week, so you guys, don't worry, it's not going to happen again. Which is asking a lot of recent trends with the game. But much as I love it, it is the buggy child that we all sometimes gripe about.
Yeah, and you could also argue that ramping up the kill requirements over time is intervention. That's not them letting us get on with it, that's them intervening.
Yeah, and at the same time, is this the story that they want to take in it? We've always said that the story in Elite is a bit at a snail's pace, especially when it comes to the Thargoids. So, the fact that we've had 6 systems then each week could be them ramping it up, but towards what we don't know, and of course, we don't really have any other means of interacting with the Thargoids other than feeding them meta alloys and escape pods.
Well, has anyone tried that?
Yeah, actually, there are some guys, who were sitting there telling over in the Canon Discord a while back, going, "Oh, we got a system that was that was targeted by Eagle Eye. It's under attack by the Thargoids. So an Aegis megaship appeared in the system, so they can engage the Thargoids there, even though there was no stations there whatsoever or landable planets." So the idea was like, "Oh, great, there's no AX combat zones there. So what do we do?" And one guy's like, "This is my chance. I'm gonna feed them everything I possibly can. I'm going to wrap up, I'm going to find all the occupied escape pods I can and try to appease them and see what they do." So I don't know how that turned out, but I'm sure, he's having fun doing it,
Thargoid picnic.
Yeah.
Sounds the way. Just on the, on the show notes, there are a few links to a couple of posts about this. One of them, I'm just going to read it because it's incredible. It was posted on the 21st, so about 5 days ago. "I have never before seen levels of cooperation and coordination we achieved in the previous week. 5 player groups from 5 discords worked together to gather 40+ pilots and log, as in logbook, 7,000 Thargoid scout kills and 100 Thargoid interceptor kills. 100. 2 of the 6 systems that Eagle Eye was pointing to. Because our time is limited, we only contributed 150 to 350 man-hours in a week. We, the 5-player faction, strongly believe that such an amazing effort focused onto elite."
Superine, you're roboting for me. I don't know if anyone else is hearing that.
It's Thargoids. I'm not saying.
I'm not saying it's Thargoids, but it is Thargoids, yeah, possibly.
You click now.
No.
No, not really.
Okay. Ben, do you want to take over for a couple
Wait, here we go.
Oh, that's better. Whatever. Yes.
Whatever you did just worked.
Ah, marvelous. Okay. Turns out asking somebody else to do it is the way to fix it.
That is always the case.
So just to finish that, it says those 7,000 kills are just from the people they were in contact with, not the general community. That is 7,000 Thargoid scout kills and 100 Thargoid interceptor kills, and it still didn't prevent it. I mean, that's incredible. That's got to be bugged, surely.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We're looking at these numbers, and it's, it is incredible that these guys did so much, and that's why they're getting burned out, because they have to kill these numbers, and all of a sudden they see that all this effort, and it was in vain because the station's still on fire. So,
yeah,
what do you do?
Are we able to? Are we actually getting any results? Is it that some of our results seem bugged and we're making progress elsewhere, or has it got to the point that we're not able to affect change in any way?
So, good question. I mean, for the most part, at least when it comes to incursion states, we've been doing pretty well lifting them. AXI and the Hive and all of them have been doing a really good job of lifting up the... they cleared 8 systems out of the 15, which is pretty good. And that's been in the span of a week.
Yeah.
And remember,
that
if you
just
don't...
killing scouts?
Well, no, that's clearing the AX combat zones as well as engaging in the non-human signal source combat, so that could be scouts and interceptors.
Yeah.
And the other thing you got to remember too is that the financial reward for killing scouts and for interceptors, not the highest paying, not the highest paying career in Elite, let's say, because scout is only worth 10k. And then I think
not when you consider repair costs.
Exactly.
Yeah. very good for combat rank, though, as an aside.
Yes, it is. If you want to get to Combat Elite, killing Thargoid scouts is the way to go, and you don't need any AX weapons or Guardian weapons. You can kill them with just about anything. You know, this is it's just you know, if anyone wants to help out defend the system this upcoming week, depending if Eagle Eye is behaving or not, you know, that's what you can do to help out. So pay attention on Thursday when on the forums in particular, the Thargoid attacks where, when, and what can you do about it thread.
Yeah.
So that will at least tell you what the current systems are and what the current state of the bubble is in terms of what Thargoids are burning these days.
Will that thread survive the culling?
I hope to dear God it does, because there is a lot of good information in there. And the first post, Commander Factabulous from Canon, the guy is a beast. He is out there checking Eagle Eye every Thursday. He is updating that thread regularly. He is responding to people on the Discord, answering questions. You know, he's really done an amazing job keeping up and everyone informed about the latest, what's going on with Thargoid. So checking the Galnet daily, because Galnet posts an article every day about what systems are on incursion, what the level of Thargoid presence is. That way you guys can also follow along. If you're not following on the forums or you're not on Discord following this, there is a Galnet article. If you go into Galnet, you can see what's going on there. I mean, if you want to get involved in something that's not Thargoid combat, you want to get involved in repairing stations, in the show notes I've provided a link to a Google Doc from Operation ID8, their stat tracker. It shows you the number of stations and the amount that they're hauling per station to fix it, which again, a lot of credits deserved in those end, because those guys are hauling the amounts, like PG worth volumes of commodities across a 200 light year span sometimes from the bubble just to fix these stations. And fortunately now they have to repair some of the ones they just finished fixing not too long ago.
Oh, so annoying.
Yeah, and I really feel for those guys, because, you know, every Thursday when they wake, you know, when some of them wake up, they just look at what's happened and go, oh God, I have so much more work to do now. This is a never ending.
Yeah. God, it would stop feeling like a game. It would just start feeling like a job.
Yeah, and that's how a lot of them actually, you know, talking to someone, that's how they feel. And it's really a shame, because, you know, it's supposed to be, you know, a game in the end. It's supposed to be for enjoyment. And it would be really nice if everyone could enjoy it like that. But the thing is, without some kind of feedback in some form or way that this, you know, the galaxy burning is the direction that Frontier wants to take it and wants us to, like, either keep at it or at least, you know, let it happen for a little bit and, you know, take a breather, let the galaxy burn a bit, and then, you know, have some kind of CG again where you can repair multiple stations.
Yeah, it does seem a bit like a Sisyphean task, doesn't it, really, where you get the rock so far up the hill and then it just rolls down again and eventually you'll get burnt out.
Yeah, totally.
But again, Frontier don't usually comment on the overall story, do they?
No.
I'm trying to think when they've done it. I don't think they've ever said, oh, this is the way the story's going, until after it's gone in a different direction.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that they did tell us going into 3.3 was how the Thargoid incursion state sort of works in terms of the AX combat and things like that. So there is a link to that in the show notes as well for anyone interested. And I should also mention one other commander in particular for his weekly write-ups on Reddit every Thursday, and it turns out we're on a lot of the same Discords as well. That's Commander of the Original Bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he writes an amazing write-up every Thursday, and actually his write-ups, I think, are probably the most thorough thing I've ever seen, because he actually tells you what stations are on fire, and if you do run missions there, what superpower you'll rank up with, like, you know, Federation or the Empire, or something along those lines. So if you want to earn rank in those places, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's really useful. We'll pop those links in the Twitch chat. This is really thick. Has Eagle Eye been going uninterrupted since it started? I think it must be 18 months ago when it first kicked in.
I mean, there were a few weeks, every now and then you would get a hiccup where Eagle Eye wouldn't report anything, and it would be a bit of a guessing game, and that was earlier on in the Beyond, I can't remember which Beyond update it was, but there was a 3.1 or 3.2 that, you know, it wasn't reporting until someone kind of kicked Frontier support on Twitter. To,
Right.
hey, by the way, it hasn't updated.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's been one or two incidents of that where it did eventually update, or, you know, it wasn't accurately reporting because there was a typo in the message. So, yeah, it's a bit of a pain sometimes when Eagle Eye misbehaves because you sometimes can't even trust what it's reporting. So, you know, when we see that change on Wednesday nights sometimes, right before the Thursday tick, you know, it immediately you can start panicking because you're going, oh God, is this intentional or is it not? Is this just an error in the system?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, you don't know what you're going to wake up to the next day, and it can be very frustrating. You know, I haven't really engaged so much in the Thargoid combat. I've been just collating all the data. Really, the data is just the list of systems being attacked and the stations being damaged and things like that. So, you know, I have a little Google sheet that I fill out each week, and I keep track of this for the podcast. And anyone else who asks for this information, I always have it.
Yeah.
You know, you just look at it and you just wonder, my God, do we really have to go through this every week? And you know, the question.
Yeah, that's really annoying to hear, actually.
It is, but you know, it would just be nice to have some sort of feedback. And you know, are we heading in a direction that Frontier wants us to? Are we really just up against a wall right now? And you know, they're waiting for some event to happen in 3.3 or the next chapter of Elite that's going to push, you know, the Thargoids back, and we're going to repair all these stations really rapidly.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, so people are like, okay, well, if this is it, just developing organically, then we're buggered. All we can hope for is that there's some kind of behind-the-scenes ticker that's logging all of our activity, and then it'll all be taken into account in the next narrative thrust or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they did say that, you know, oh, our first interaction with the Thargoids will dictate our behavior, so I'm fully blaming Ben and Colin for putting that Guardian device in the Thargoid structure, nearly ending the universe.
That's not us, that was completely and utterly on Stephen Usher. Yeah, nothing to do with us at all.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just weak and easily led.
Just for anybody who doesn't know, could you just tell us how Eagle Eye works? Do the stations just is it just a code that's broadcasted that needs decoding, saying the name of a system?
Yeah. So the way it works is every Thursday at the BGS tick now. Maybe this is how it should work. You go to the Eagle Eye installations and you listen for the message that they broadcast. And
what kind do they broadcast in?
It's just letters for the most part, but there's a decoder now. I tried to follow this as best I can and understand it as best I can. There is a certain decryption method that Canon, you know, has become aware that FDev have been using for a particular Eagle Eye. So they actually made an online decoder that people can use. That's actually linked to the Thargoid attacks, where, when, and what can you do about it in the first post.
Oh, cool.
Where you just go to the Eagle Eye installation, you listen to the broadcast. You know, the first one starts at the top of the hour, and then 10 minutes later the next one, 10 minutes later the next after that, and there's 6
message. Yeah.
So you write down what the broadcast is, you plug it into that, you hit decrypt, and it tells you the system that is next being attacked. And then, of course, you know, the way it used to work was you needed a Thargoid probe and things like that to verify the target, because you'd go look for a transmitter in the system. You know, it used to be a whole real big process, and now they thankfully kind of simplified it. So it's not as involved as it used to be, which is in a way good, because it's a time-saving event, because it used to be you would get the Eagle Eye report, so you get the Eagle Eye broadcast, and you go, okay, right, I've now got to go to the respective Thargoid site, turn on the structure to get those little message logs that, you know, just give you the little, what sounds like a 56K modem dial-up.
Yeah.
You need a Thargoid probe, you'd go to the respective system, jettison the probe out, play that message, watch where the probe points, and it would usually point to the transmitter in the system near a station.
Yeah.
So you would have to drop in near the station to find that transmitter, then you knew, okay, this is definitely a target for this week.
Yeah. And how has it changed? What's the process now?
It's exactly as I said. You just go to the Eagle Eye broadcast, the broadcast satellite. You listen for what is in broadcast out loud. ruins the decoder, and that's the system that's going to be targeted.
So there is a code that needs breaking. It doesn't just say the next target will be Solana.
No, that would just be too easy. So Cannon's Decryptor Online is what people have been using for that. Yeah. So if anyone wants to get involved with that, join us over on the Cannon Discord. I am a member of Cannon, but I am not the most active member of Cannon in the sense that I'm not always able to engage in scientific mysteries because the galaxy is big, and I'm usually nowhere near the site where something's interesting happening.
Yeah.
But they do appreciate active participation and discussion on their Discord, and welcome everybody, of course. So if you want to get involved with that and actually learn a bit more about the Thargoids hands-on from them, that's always a good place to go. The other thing I suppose I should mention, I'm not sure if you guys ever talked about it on the show, which was at the dinner that they raffled off for the 24-hour stream that they did around the holidays.
Yep.
The developers had said that the Thargoids are like us, not like humanity, where they're always looking for resources. So we always know they're going to systems with ammonia worlds.
Oh, do they only target systems with ammonia worlds?
For the most part, unless it comes to the Pleiades, where things get a bit screwy there.
Yeah.
And it's not always guaranteed to be an ammonia world. Because Dekiat, for example, where Farseer the engineer is, that doesn't have an ammonia world at all.
No.
They're always looking for resources, apparently. And FDev have told at least told the people at the dinner who then fed it back to Cannon that it's the next systems that are targeted are based on an algorithm. They're pretty confident we'll never figure it out. So to them, I say challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, I was going to say the guys at Cannon, I'm pretty sure will be able to crack it, in a matter of weeks if they really sit down and focus on it. And I'm sure there is somebody over there right now working on it, probably.
That's really interesting. I'm surprised it's not hand chosen.
If it was hand chosen, then they really, really must hate Operation IDA and keep targeting the Pleiades for some godforsaken reason.
Yeah, true that.
So, it's just a question of what they want to do and the direction they want to take it. And just some sort of feedback would be nice. And, just to let the players know we're not wasting our time. And if we are, the good news is that I think someone took a look at the number of occupied, populated systems in the bubble with an ammonia world. So, in about 3 years' time, I think it was 2.5 or 3 years' time, we'll be out of systems at the current rate. So, we've got a bit of time before the rest of the bubble's on fire. And, the question is, are they ever going to attack Sol?
Yeah. We realise, I don't think they'll ever get to Sol because they'll never get a permit. But, the algorithm could just be simply between, David Braben, Lawrence, Sandro playing spin the bottle on the floor and just kind of wherever the bottle ends up where you pick. So that could be the real algorithm, just playing spin the bottle one Wednesday lunchtime.
It could be a random number generator.
Isn't there already a lot of RNG in all of this? Do we really want to bring more in?
Precisely, yes.
Is RNG the what determines the number of kills per system?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's if listeners want to get involved, and I count myself in their number because I found it quite galvanizing listening to you. What is, I guess, two separate questions. What needs the most activity, for one, and also, in which areas are you seeing your efforts most rewarded?
Right. Okay, so
I guess IDA is the one that needs the most help.
Yes, absolutely. Those guys really could use as much help as possible. So if you have, one night where you don't mind working on your trade rank a bit, the profits are not great, but you could help out by repairing a station, maybe not on the Pleiades, but near your faction system in the bubble if you're into the BGS. And you have a player miner faction in the area, that's always really good. I know the Hudden Truckers have been repairing a station of Wooly, which has been a really big help. I know Operation IDA was really excited to see that. And they did it something ridiculous, amount of time, because they were trying to go for gold in the squadrons. I think they took 9 commanders to bring the station back online in 2 weeks.
Wow.
But that was like some serious hauling that they did, so keep that in mind. Operation IDA would definitely probably need the most help. If you want to work on your combat rank, AXI and the Hive are really good places to go. AXI, they have a really good Discord. They're all very friendly over there. They know their stuff. They have really good tutorials and ship builds. If you want to get involved more, not in Operation IDA, but at least work on your Federation or Empire rank, or if you want to collect engineering mats, help evacuate people from the burning stations, so just get a ship over with a lot of passenger cabs, and spend an hour, and you can earn yourself some pretty decent engineering materials and some decent rank that way.
How do you get the engineering materials? Is it a mission?
Yeah, it's a mission.
Okay.
You have a choice between choosing influence, reputation, or material of some sort.
Yeah.
So the other thing too is that if you want to earn a bit more in terms of profits, you can also deliver medicines and emergency supplies to the rescue ships and systems. That's another way. We're not really sure what role those kinds of activities have in assisting a Thargoid incursion or detecting an infestation. It would be good to start collecting that data. I know Operation IDA is looking at civilian evacuation data now, so it would be great if people could start participating in that. Just sort of keeping track of roughly how many passengers they've evacuated or how many basic medicines they've brought into assist to the rescue, to see if that's actually helping with the incursion, because the idea is that if other activities are influencing the incursion, you're not a combat pilot. How do you engage in the story?
Yeah. And if people want to help the IDA or IDA, what's the can they use the spreadsheet that you gave us the link for, or do they need to be on the Discord?
I would strongly suggest that they go to their Discord and let them know that they are working on a station. The Discord has a nice bot that keeps track of all your deliveries, so after you make a run, you just type in, I delivered 756 CMN composites, and then you hit enter, and obviously the bot logs in and helps them keep track of what's been delivered, because they go based on each commodity, what's been delivered. That way they know what's next to focus on.
Yeah.
Does EDMC not have things that go off and automate all this, like
I'm sure that could be
the Hudson Trucker Tracker and things?
I'm sure they do. I'm not sure how Operation IDA is using it. So if they are using it, I know. I can't remember the commander's name from the Hudson Truckers who actually helped out.
Antarius Fusion's the guy who did the Trucker Tracker.
It wasn't Antarius. I think it was who's Draxter's partner?
Oh, Simmons.
Yes. Yeah, he helped out. I think it was Zane Till over in Operation IDA with a basic tracker on the Discord to keep track of all this and help them out. And on top of that, it actually, if you go into their Discord, it actually tells what their active target currently is in terms of repairing, what they're delivering, where to pick up the materials for it, and how much you're going to roughly earn, things like that. So there is commodity data available there if you want to actually get involved that way. I'm not really sure what other ways to engage with the Thargoid story right now. It's
no, that's brilliant. That's really helpful. Wow. Okay, it's a complete picture.
I'm really sorry. I don't mean to actually sound.
No. Don't be silly. No. It's good. I mean, you've been quite balanced actually. Like, this is working. This was good. This was fixed. Do you think that the timings of this being funded overlap with the timings of the BGS in general being? Do you think they're one and the same problem, or is this something? I know that the Operation IDA repair tallies have not been have been a bit funky in the past, but
yeah.
But I'm curious as to whether this overall lack of feedback and problem of leapfrogging targets has coincided with the BGS bugs.
There are some things that have overlapped with the BGS bugs. The lack of AX combat zones not appearing right away, that might be a separate bug itself. It's really hard to pinpoint because there are so many small bugs that impact how this all works. It could be BGS related, it could be independent, could be a mixture of the two. I can't really say with any confidence what is influencing one bug versus another. I think for the most part though, because Eagle Eye is now tied in, with the BGS tech, that what happened last week where we had 15 burning stations was a result of the BGS having problems. So, but that's the running theory. Not what Frontier said. They've not forward on it. Sorry that it's so bleak, but
No, don't apologise. I'm gonna now that my combat mapper is finished. Oh, how useful is a mapper?
Right. So what I would suggest, if you want to get involved in combat and you're not the best pilot on the planet, start off with scouts. Get a ship with the maximum amount of hull reinforcement packages, engineer it to be just essentially a brick, and the highest shield that you can. Doesn't matter the resistances, it's sheer number of megajoules that count.
Right.
So, yeah, a Mamba could be pretty good against scouts. You can use gimbaled weapons on them if you're really bad with fixed. Turreted even, but I think turreted on a Mamba would be a bit of a shame.
Exactly, yeah.
So, yeah, you can do anything with any of the weapons that you feel comfortable with to fight scouts, more or less. The only thing is, be aware that if you get hit by a caustic missile, you are going to degrade some damage, so it's important to have a high hull count.
Yeah.
Point.
Okay, so hull tanks are necessary.
Hull tanks, and you can also do shield tanks, just make sure you have as strong a shield as humanly possible.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much. We will.
No problem.
We'll move on to community stuff after a quick ad break. Can you hang about and chat some more this evening?
Yeah.
You don't have to. You can scoot off if you like. We won't pester you for Thargoid stuff anymore. But you're welcome to hang around and join us for the rest of the show.
Oh, I'll do my best to. I just gotta clear it with the missus and make sure she doesn't want to kill me or anything along those lines for being on so long.
Funniest thing I've heard in the last 3 or 4 weeks was the fact that the hunter truckers called their partners flight prevention officers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's a pretty accurate description.
Cool. All right, we'll do a quick ad break and then we're back in just a moment.
Eddie Lee Wise here. Our family-run business looks after all your sartorial needs. Whether you need something to turn your pink python purple, or you want to wrap your buns up in a nice tight flight suit, my husband Ken can sort you right out. He's an expert at inside leg, and my wife Barbs is a whiz with a sewing machine. Bespoke tarting for you and your ship. Visit Eddie and Sons, plus my daughters, at Lave Station. Right, sir. Cough, please.
Want to tour the frontier? Travel with Colmac Reeve and our new fleet of passenger starliners. We've opened up the universe for a range of budgets. Option 1, luxury.
My husband and I like to travel in comfort. The new luxury cabins are like a home away from home. After all, one's home is a castle.
Option 2, first class.
We'd saved up a bit for a really special trip. The first class cabins were like nothing we've travelled in before. Really luxurious.
Option 3, travel cabin.
What a trip. Cormac Reeves monthly lotto. Travel cabin for 2 on the Starliner around the solar system. Once in a lifetime for us. Simply amazing.
Option 4, basic accommodation.
Me and my mates just wanted to hitch around the universe. It's so great that we have the option of getting a really cheap cabin to see the sights. It saved us loads.
And for the budget conscious and slaves, we have our cheapest option yet.
Well, I need that.
And we won't sell any of those frozen passengers into slavery, I promise. Colmac Reeves all budget tours, seeing the galaxy from luxury to freezing tubes.
Hello. We're back. So, we are?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, we're back to talk about what's been going on in the community this last week. We ought to change the name of Community Corner because I feel like everything we talk about is community-based.
We are kind of a community-based show.
Yeah, it seems a bit of a misnomer.
The special Community Corner.
This is what we made today at school corner.
Does anyone have a refrigerator that we could put it on?
I think it's not very polite to say that some of Ghost Giraffe stuff is made out of paper mache, though.
He's very good at finding bugs, isn't he? We're referring to the video that he posted. That he posted on the 14th of riding an asteroid into a moon. This reminds. He did another one about 2 planets merging.
He did indeed, yes. He's very good at finding these broken planets and systems and things like that. I don't know how he finds them all, but he is very good at that, and then exploring with them.
Yeah. He must, because you can't see it from the system map, so he must fly very close to lots and lots and lots of planets on the off chance that they're quite
possible. And we're not meaning in the Thargoid way. I'm kind of assuming he just keeps his ear to the sort of the grindstone for all that kind of thing and sources, but it could be he finds them. I really don't know how he manages to find them. Very cool video, and I love it when you can go and see. Just you go off and find a ring, and with a bit of time lapse, you can see that you're orbiting the planet. But the ones he finds are just absolutely mental.
Oh wow! Artis has just posted something in chat about a new alien object that's been found.
Ooh. Yeah, I just saw it over on Canon Discord. I was like, oh, we're on air. I might as well just share this right now because it's actually kind of cool. I think it's like a legitimate news show almost.
Ventura, can you go and shove that picture up? Because what the hell is that? It looks almost like a Borg cube.
It's called a Nivium octahedral pod, and it causes caustic damage when you trigger its spores and your shields are down.
How do you trigger its spores?
I don't know. Commander Maligno over in Canon was the one who found this, and it was Commander Mr. Bow Wow who discovered the effect.
Awesome.
It says it in the screenshot. It's
oh yeah, Shrogay KK-A. Blah blah blah.
I was gonna just call it Schrodinger's cat, but sure.
That's weird. Is it confirmed as Thargoid, do we know?
No, nothing yet. It's just confirmed, but it's the only other alien species that causes caustic damage besides Thargoids, so...
Yeah.
Who knows?